my son's corner. They wanted me to be an accomplice to my son's murder. Now, if you think that's strong, you need to talk to Michael Watson. You need to talk to Gerald McClellan, if he can make sense. You need to speak to Nick Blackwell. You need to speak to Mike Tyson. You need to speak to Lennox Lewis. Then you'll understand the magnitude of this outrage.
But Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. Your son agreed to do that weight change, did he not?
Big facts.
Yes, he wouldn't listen to me. He wouldn't listen to me. And so I had to go behind the scenes in silence and help them make the right decision. And the right decision was made the day before.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Your son agreed to do that weight change, did he not?
Yes, he wouldn't listen to me. He wouldn't listen to me. And so I had to go behind the scenes in silence and help them make the right decision. And the right decision was made the day before the fight was to take place.
So you were relieved that the fight did not take place?
Relieved is an insult.
Wow. Dopey ass. Let me say this now before I even start the video. Chris Sr. just said, dropped a huge leaked bombshell. Yeah? I was the Donny. I'm the one who went behind the scenes and pulled off some next snaky thing. Yeah? And the interviewer ignores the leaked bombshell and starts waffling about someone else. Where did he get this guy from? Where did he find this guy at? Simon and George and Bumson. Bum on and bummin'. Yeah? Yeah, bum on and bumden. How about that? I ain't trying to hear no more about... Listen, I ain't trying to hear no more about Simon. Yeah? Poshin, and bumden. Yeah? Can't ask questions, haven't asked. These guys are on probably 200 grand, 300, 400 grand a year doing a waffling job. Yeah? And they can't even ask the basic questions. I've been begging people all week, yeah, to get this timeline sorted. Eddie Hearn's been everywhere. All these clowns, like Bumon and Bumden, have been out here grandstanding about how bad it is. Every single one of them has had Eddie Hearn in an interview, and none of them has established the timeline. None of them have established when his most recent clean test before the failed one, and his most recent clean test after the failed one. None. Yeah? We had nothing. Just a bunch of wafflers. A bunch of grandstanders. Can't stand it. Overpaid schmucks. Anyway, man, listen. Let's get back to the original leak. Off the rip, big shout out to my doggy, Jemmy Corn, for coming through. Yeah, listen, my man should be called Jemmy Coin, 100%. He boosted the coin up. No doubt about it. Big love, big salute, no doubt about it, 100%. So we just heard there from your mans, Chris Eubank Sr. leaking. No one ain't heard this one yet. It's an exclusive one. Yeah, obviously your man the YB had to bring this to his peoples, and no one heard this one. Super duper exclusive, super duper leaked, and you heard the bombshell. And I hate to say it, I hate to break it to people, but guess what? When this news first came out, who was the guy who told you Chris Sr. was the man to leak it? Gareth A. Davis has been out here saying, oh, yeah, I know who it is, and I'm not going to tell anyone because you don't know who it is. If you did, you'd have known it was Chris Sr. But you can't tell anyone because, what did he say it was? Oh, my name's Gareth A. Davis, and I know who leaked it, but I can't tell no one because, clown. You don't know. That's what you mean to say. Listen, Gareth. What you mean to say is you ain't got a clue who it is. How about that? Yeah, because you got a clue about everything else. Big mouth don't stop going on anything else. Now all of a sudden you want to be political. Clown. Anyway, listen. We just heard there from Chris Eubank Sr. Yeah, leaking the fact that he was the one to blow the whistle. Now I understand it to some extent. Well, listen. I don't believe the way he's carrying on for me is a bit extra. But from what I've seen from old or for aging men get a lot more risk averse as they get older. Almost exponentially so. Yeah? 60-year-old men are much more grandpa-like. Yeah, your grandfather's always worrying about risk. A 20-year-old man is out here bezzing his little Corsa. Yeah? Is it Ford Corsa? Whatever car it is. You know, him bezzing the Corsa and licking off, and most men, 18, crash like once or twice in a lifetime, as an average. Yeah, just licking around the place in the coursers, in a souped up courser. So the point is, I get potentially where Chris Senior is coming from, but I do get the feeling he's going a little bit too extra with it for me. And the reason that's relevant to this is because you might know my opinion. I think the fight should have happened, truth be known. Yeah. No, I don't blame. If Chris really feels the way he feels, which he's quite convincing at, then it's rational what he did. And again, we have to bear in mind, not only is Chris older, he's also just lost a son. I think that's probably what it is, to be fair. Probably not even to do with age. Probably to do with any man. Even if you're 35 and you lose a son, that's going to make you exponentially more risk averse. Particularly when we already know Chris Eubank Sr. himself has personally been involved with fights like Michael Watson, like Nick Blackwell. So he's got that, you know what I mean? He's proper like in it. Like, he's really in it like that. He's not just speculating. He's actually lived it. He's actually lost a son for one. And he's actually popped someone's barnet for them. Yeah? Michael Watson got his barnet popped. Why be this? I ain't going to sit here and mince my words. Yeah? His barnet, his Nelly got popped. Simple as that. Yeah? Nick Blackwell, his bonds, also scrambled. So Eubank's been right there. Now, after losing a son, do you really want to take any risk? Never mind a super duper juicy risk at that. But to be quite frank, Chris Eubank, that's the thing. I'm trying to work out the dates now, because how early? No, it was actually when the fight was announced in August. Eubank Senior was kicking off about this fight, so he was shook even before the failed tests. I'm sure the failed tests didn't do his feelings any favours. I remember leaking at the time back in August, telling you, man, Chris Senior don't want this fight because he's scared his son is gonna ruin his legacy. And I do feel to some extent that's still the case. I think Chris Senior, he ain't gonna tell you that. I think there is a chance, yeah, potentially, Chris Senior is using the guise of, I worry for my son, as a decoy. No, I'm not saying he's heartless, but I'm just saying I do feel somewhere in there. I mean, Chris Jr. even said, yeah, I think my dad might be worrying that I'm going to ruin his legacy. And we know, let's not forget, people, Chris Eubank Sr. is one of the most egotistical men around. After all, he's a 60-year-old man still trying to run his own 35-year-old man's son's life. Do you understand? He's hugely egotistical. Now, a man with that kind of ego, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's what you need. To be at a world championship level for a sustained period of time, you have to have an ego bigger than you'd ever believe. That's what all the best fighters have. Someone like AJ, for example, he ain't got no ego. His ego got popped by Andy Ruiz, and that's never been the same since. His ego's gone, and that's why AJ, and that's why I rate Wilder. Wilder, yeah, even though he's lost, he still was able to maintain that ego, that delusion, and that's what enabled him to go in there and give Fury his hardest fight of his life. Yeah, Fury went from having one of his easiest fights in his life, in the second fight, to having one of his hardest fights, and that was all to do with the ego. If Wilder had doubted himself like AJ did, Wilder had gone in there and it'd have been some more food. It'd have been some nice, deep fried Alabama South food for Fury. Instead, it ended up being really Fury's hardest fight. Facts. Yeah? Anyway, I'm digressing, but the point is, man, Chris Senior's ego is boosted out of wherever else. So you best believe, yeah, he might be concerned for his son, but I believe a decent proportion of the real concern, he didn't want Chris Jr., who's a bit of a joker. And let's not forget, I leaked a video the other day, Chris Senior airing his son out, saying, Chris Jr., you're a clown, you're just trying to suck Floyd Mayweather off. Floyd Mayweather's a 5-foot midget-looking ass Napoleon complex, yeah? He a goober. His wife got jacked by Nelly. Let's call a spade here. How you gonna have all that money and all that clout and have broke Nelly come take your girl? Oh, it's bad. I'm telling you now. If you ever see me with that much clout and that much coin, and Nelly, Mr. 2002 comes along and takes my girl, you best believe it's a wrap for the YB. Yeah? I wouldn't be showing my face nowhere. Never mind trying to give it a big one like Floyd. Anyway, listen. Where was I? Yeah, Senior aired out Junior, and that tells you what he really thinks about his son. He thinks I hate to break it to you again. I told you. I've been told you this. I told you back in August. Senior thinks his son is a bit of a clown. And he doesn't trust his clown son with his legacy. Do any of you here believe Senior wants Junior to go in there, get his cherry popped? Well, not cherry, but to get popped by Conor Benn. And that whole legacy of the Eubanks being better than the Benn family, which is the most contested. Really, I'm trying to think historically. Yeah, what rivalry's been more smoky than Benn and Eubank? I'm sorry, certainly not in UK circles. Eubank Senior didn't trust his son. I'm not being funny, but the way he keeps carrying on. You tried to get my son smoked. He really believed Conor Benn was going to go in there and set about him. Eubank Senior had no faith in his own son, bottom line. Because like I said, I've never heard Chris Senior grandstanding about how bad it is before. It's only, you think it's a coincidence? We've seen Eubank going in there with George Groves and go in there with, who else? Not really. Listen, he ain't fought no one, but do you know what I mean? We've seen him go in there with better fighters and more dangerous fighters, bigger fighters than Conor Benn. So what? Wait a minute. Your son's fighting a half pint. Why are you kicking up such a fuss? Is it a coincidence? No, it's not. The common denominator here is the fact that the Benn legacy. That's what the common denominator is. If Eubank Senior was really scared about losing his son, he could have kicked a song and a dance up in the George Groves fight, which is surely much more dangerous, no? Oops. And instead, he ain't do that. He ain't mentioned nothing. You tell me, is it a coincidence? The one time Eubank's legacy potentially is going to be undermined by his son, that's when he's kicking up, talking about, I don't want to lose you. Because really, Senior couldn't say it any other way, could he? Publicly. He couldn't come out and say, I don't want my son to take this fight because I think he's going to get his cherry popped by Conor Benn and he's going to ruin all my hard work. He can't say that. The best way to spin it, I'm really concerned for my son. You know what I'm saying? That's what I believe is the case, to a high degree. I'm not saying somewhere in there he ain't also a bit nervy after losing his other son, but I just don't believe the way he's kicking up a fuss. He's going way too deep with it. Do you know what I mean? Let's not forget, people. It's not like Conor Benn's just knocked. Fair enough, yeah. If Conor Benn had just knocked out Errol Spence at 147, I'd get that. Damn, man, he real dangerous. But Conor Benn just went 12 rounds with Adrian Granados, for example. I'm pretty sure he didn't even put him down. The point is, Conor Benn ain't like Superman, and he's small. So why would Eubank Senior be doing way too much about this fight? That made no sense. Anyway, listen. The bottom line is, Eubank Senior he ruined the fight. He pulled the plug. You heard him there. So there's no more speculation. Eubank Senior pulled the plug. It's a shame. I wish he hadn't done it, but I guess, well, not I guess, but we'll have it in the future to look forward to now. Because from what I'm hearing, there's no way, all you weirdos, not weirdos, sorry, some of you, man, have a fair argument, but all the dons out there some of you, man, yeah, were celebrating, oh yeah, we got Conor Benn, oh yeah, we got Eddie Hearn. I was telling you, you ain't got nothing, you ain't got shit, because nothing can happen. Yeah, so like I said, you best believe this fight's getting re-put on. All you man who was celebrating, waving the flag, oh yeah, we mugged Eddie Hearn off, oh yeah, we mugged Conor Benn off. Oops, you ain't mugged nothing off. The system don't stop churning. The system don't stop rolling. Yeah? And there'll be some fake news, 100% fake news results put out there. Oh, he's completely vindicated. Yeah, no, he's clean. There'll be results saying, actually, he's one of the cleanest athletes we've ever seen in our life. 100%. That's what's coming next is, there'll be a report which states that Conor Benn's cleaner than any athlete we've ever seen in the history of the game. And then Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn will come out there saying, yeah, see, look, not only is Conor Benn clean, his levels are so low, VAR say they've never seen someone so unjust. And that's what it'll be using for the next 10 years of his career. Yeah, people, you all betted against me. Now look, I'm the cleanest athlete in history of the game. That's 100% what's coming next. And you best believe it. And that's why I said to you, we may as well have just had the fight in the first place. Let's get it out of the way, because it ain't going to change nothing anyway. All we've done, really, is make more clout for the rematch, innit? Let's be real now. How many of you think this fight is now smaller? This drama is just taking it into the stratosphere. I wouldn't be surprised if it's all planned, truth be known. Would you be surprised? I wouldn't be. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, and your boy will be back 1,000,000%.